Hey guys, this is Karna the Young and I'm Vijay back with a new video. In today's episode, we are going to see how to take care of Syngonium plant so that you could also grow a huge and beautiful bushy Syngonium plant like this. So few care tips for you. In this video, if you're new to this channel, then consider subscribing to our channel and press the bell notification to get notified about my future updates. So yeah, without any further delays, let's get into the video. Syngonium is an aroid native to Mexico, West Indies, and North and South American rainforests, so it loves humidity and shade. In the beginning of this video, I would love to tell you about their natural habitat. You just think about it. It's a tropical rainforest covered by multiple canopies of trees so that sunshine couldn't come in, just a few rays of hope can get in, and also it's rainy, it's humid and moist, and the ground would have a lot of organic matter because of the leaves shed by the huge trees, and also the trees would support its growth. So those are the conditions which we need to provide for it to grow into a huge plant as it grows in the natural habitat. First, let's see about the sunlight requirement of this plant. So as I have mentioned about its natural habitat already, you would be knowing that the trees, the canopy of the forest provides shade to this plant, so there is no direct sunlight falling on it, only filtered sunlight falls on this plant. So that's the kind of light it requires. It requires bright indirect sunlight. For you to differentiate, this is bright direct light falling on the plant, and this is bright indirect light. There is no direct rays of light falling on it, but then it is dappled from the surroundings and light falls on it. So this is bright indirect light, and this is what a plant like that requires, and this is direct light which only vegetables and fruits require. And there might be places which are very shady. So like this one, you can see here it's bright indirect, direct light falling over it from the sky, and you can see here under the leaves it's shady. So if it is like that, the plants would not get enough sunlight for them to grow into better and humongous plant. So this is the condition indoors. Many people place the plants in front of their doors or near their office desk, something like that. So in those places they wouldn't get enough sunlight. Place your plant near a window like this to get some dappled sunlight. Actually, no plants are naturally indoor plants, so make sure you give them some bright indirect light. Don't place them indoors near your desk or in a shady area or somewhere which is very shady. Make sure they get bright indirect light like the patio or the front yard, backyard, somewhere like that, your balcony or near the windowsill. So these are the spots where you can place your Syngonium. There are many miniature varieties which looks cute, which can be kept on office desks, but they do require a lot of sunlight to grow and establish itself into a huge and beautiful plant. So make sure you provide them the apt condition. Next, let's talk about the soil requirement. The soil must be rich and loamy and well draining. It must be rich in organic matter, and a lot of microorganisms should be present in it. So for that, you have to add a lot of compost or some sort of organic manure, cocoa peat, and such organic material, wood chips, etc. into your garden soil to make it into a soft loam. Now, a good soil is a very important, basic and a compulsory requirement of this plant because it doesn't require a lot of fertilizers. It only takes up most of the nutrients from the soil, and the soil itself is enough to sustain its life for a very long time. So make sure you provide it with a good quality potting mix or homemade one which is rich in nutrients. And as I was saying about nutrients, let's talk about fertilizing this plant. Basically, this plant is not a foodie and it hates over-fertilizing. So you can give a very common fertilizer like compost or any other basic all-purpose fertilizers could do good to this plant. You can use any kind of animal manure fish meal, something of that kind rich in nitrogen would do good. Just give it once in 2 or 3 months, that would suffice this plant's growth. And the quantity is completely based on the size of the plant you have and also the size of the grow bag or the planter you have. As I was talking about container size in between, I wish to say about that as well. So the container size is also completely dependable on the plant variety you have. There are many varieties of Syngoniums. There are varieties which can grow in terrariums, and also there are huge varieties like this one. This can grow up to 10 to 20 meters in height. So it is a highly variable factor when I put up the common term Syngonium and say about container size. So you have to choose that. And a size of container like this may be enough for a few months, but then a 12 to 16 inch pot would be good for a few years. And another tip I would give is to use a pole like this to support the growth. So in the natural habitat, they take up the support of trees and they send in their roots, aerial roots, into the bark of the trees. Like this, you can see here, it is sending out root into the moss stick. So you can use moss stick. You can make your own DIY one with a coir or jute bag and a wooden bamboo stick or something like that. You can use anything and provide such a support. This would give a beautiful lush growth. Because of the support, it can grow even more better, beautiful, and it takes up the water directly from this pole, and also some nutrients from the pole would be entering the plant directly into each leaf from these aerial roots. So the leaves would be more huge and bigger, brighter, and it would be nice if it has such pole. But this pole would not be having nutrients for a very long time. So while giving fertilizers, make sure you add liquid fertilizers into the water and also pour it over this pole. So the pole has some nutrients for these aerial roots to take in. And also while watering your plant, water on this pole. It's a very important tip to get huge Syngonium plant like this. But if you don't wish to give it a pole, then it would grow around into a small bushier manner and will be producing leaves on top, but the leaves would be small and not humongous like this. Next, let's talk about watering this plant. This plant requires a consistently moist soil, so make sure it is always moist but not damp and also not dry. So when it looks dry a bit on the top layer, then water a little and make sure it is moist. Don't overwater and make the root to rot. So you can see here the soil looks a bit dry and rigid. Can you see that? It's not moist. It's dry and rigid a bit. So at this stage, you have to water a little and make it moist according to the size of grow bag, and also water on this pole without fail. I hope you can understand what a moist soil means now. It looks sticky but not so wet, so this is moist. That's all about growing and carrying Syngonium in containers. I hope you found this video useful. Consider to like, share and subscribe our channel. Happy gardening and bye. Meet you in another interesting video.